All right, and welcome everybody to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, along with Ben Upson, back at it to talk about the Knicks as we are now in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. First, we want to recap Game 5. So, Game 5 was the other night, and obviously the Celtics were coming in a little bit shorthanded because of what happened with Jason Tatum. It was confirmed that he did, in fact, tear his Achilles, so he's out for the rest of the year, and he's going to be out for a majority of next year as well. So this was the opportunity for the Knicks to come back to Boston and close out the series. Now, looked pretty good in the first half. Um, at certain points, the Knicks did, come out and play well, keeping pace with Boston, and then they took a little bit of a lead at one point, but then everything fell apart in the second half and they ended up losing 127 to 102. Jalen Brunson fouled out in this game, 5 fouls in one quarter. I've never heard that before, never seen that before, but it happened. Yeah, it was just a rough night. And the thing with this team is they're consistently inconsistent. Because once again, you had Mikal Bridges struggling, Karl Anthony Towns was frustrating, and OG Anunoby as well. Again, another no-show performance from him. And, some of the positives you take away from this game, Hakamich didn't play a role in this game. Mitchell Robinson went 6 for 6 from the free throw line. And you got a pretty good shooting night out of Josh Hart from 3, and also ended up with a bloody nose. He got elbowed in the face, and you thought this is going to be the Josh Hart bloody face game, and, that ended up not being the case. And, yeah, it was just a rough night. It was a rough night, and now the pressure is back on the Knicks in this Game 6 here at the Garden. And, even with the Knicks being up 3-1 and Jason Tatum being out for the rest of the postseason, the Celtics are still a very good team. And, I wasn't declaring that, they're completely done. Like, they still have a chance in this series. But we're kind of hoping that the Knicks were going to be able to close out the series and get it done and not push it to a Game 6. But the Celtics played well. Derek White has been a thorn in the Knicks' side this entire series. I mean, he finished with 30 points. I mean, he hitting threes. They're still falling. It's just, it's tough. And this series has been a roller coaster because, they're up 2-1. And we're confident, but, the Knicks still hadn't played a great game yet. Then you lose Game 3. Then you win the best game of the playoffs, the best game of the series for the Knicks to go up 3-1. And now here we are again. They lose Game 5. And now, some people are kind of down on the Knicks. And if they lose this game tonight, going back to Boston for a Game 7, a lot of fans, a lot of people are not going to be confident that the Knicks are going to be able to get it done. So hopefully that is not the case, but it's just frustrating how inconsistent this team is. It really is. Ben, let me get your thoughts on what transpired the other night.
Well, certainly, Kenny, and I think consistently inconsistent is probably the best way to put it with this team. And granted, the opponent that they're playing, the Boston Celtics, it's hard to put a complimentary 48 minutes together. It always is, but it's just that there are times where the Knicks can put together a really good stretch, of offense and, stay like right there with Boston as they keep punching from 3, and then all of a sudden when the Knicks can't get shots to fall, they're getting a little bit, tired and, backing off defensively. That just allows the Celtics to, enable that takeover ability, which they've done so many times this season. If you can believe this, if you want to count the regular season matchups, Game 5 was the 7th time this season that the Celtics led by 20 plus at one point over the Knicks. The 7th time. And the Knicks, somehow stole 2 of those games, of course, Games 1 and Game 2. And in Game 4, they were also, they were down by 11 at the half. I think they were down by 14 late in the third. Found a way to fight back and win. And as you said, of course, Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles at the end of that game, which, all our thoughts and prayers to him. I mean, it's awful to see that happen. But the Celtics too, something that doesn't really get talked about enough, I don't think, is a lot of Knicks fans, and of course us New Yorkers, we love to get in our feelings and about how oh, the series is over now that Tatum's out. Oh, this is going to be a wrap. It's not a wrap because the Celtics are 10-2 this season without Jason Tatum. They're just as good, if not arguably better, question mark, without Jason Tatum.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
That's being a little exaggeratory, but still, I mean, they're just fine when Tatum, goes down. Like they have plenty of depth, they have plenty of scoring options. They always find ways to win, and that's also the talent level that is head coach Joe Mazzulla, who's definitely come under fire in the series. But after the way Game 5 transpired, he's definitely back in the saddle, so to speak. And Luke Cornett had one of the games of his career, arguably, in Game 5. I mean, he was doing everything. He had 7 blocks, which I think tied his career high. He was just a physical presence inside, provided plenty of defense for the Celtics. And really, Jaylen Brown, complimented Derek White and proved that he can be the guy, of course, when Tatum's not there. And the Celtics were emotionally charged up in Game 5. Like, I think all things aside, they were definitely, out there playing for Tatum, and they were desperate, and they didn't want to lose Game 5 at home in the series. I completely understand it. But this is the test for the Knicks now. I mean, I don't want to say this is a must-win tonight based on how they have played overall in the series. Like, they've done enough in the fourth quarter across the board to say that they can really win this series. But instead of saying, well, they really should win the series going into Game 5, now we're saying could in Game 6, because one game changes everything now. Because all of a sudden, if they have to go back to Boston Monday for a Game 7, I mean, their heads are going to be spinning because you're going to be on the road. They haven't played well in Boston, period. I mean, they've been down 20 plus in every single game. And the only reason they stole games 1 and 2 is because Brunson and the offense found ways to score and were the more physical team. The Celtics are becoming more physical. It was evident in Game 5. Like, they're not just going to sit back and, relax, because they know that every game is a must win the rest of the way. They've gotten 1, and now they have to get 2 more. And that's why if they win this one tonight, I'm not going to feel very good at all going into a Game 7 on Monday. But if you look at it this way, the Knicks have led the series for 37 minutes so far in the entire series, just about 37 minutes. The Celtics are getting close to about 200. The Knicks have just found ways in crunch time moments because of Jalen Brunson, because they find other avenues to score. Bridges, specifically, picking it up in the fourth quarter in most of the series. If Anunoby and Towns can also show up again, too, that's going to help. Cat has to stay out of foul trouble. They need big shots from OG Anunoby, and they just need to be in the game. I think Games 3 and 5 are a little bit of an outlier. I refuse to believe that this is what's going to happen to the Knicks the rest of the series, because even though they got throttled in both of those games, I think they started sitting back toward the end of it, and, just realizing that, hey, we don't have a chance. Let's just move on to the next game. Like, there's just been, I think Brunson and Hart both talked about it actually after Game 3 in their press conferences about how the Celtics had the extra gear and they didn't bring it. And now, is that concerning to hear that? Yes, but it's also just that the Celtics adjusted and they had a new game plan going in. And I think tonight's going to be a much different story. It's going to be intense. The Garden's going to be insane. It's a Friday night in the city. The Mets and the Yankees are cross town.
Yeah, it's a big night. It's a big night in New York sports tonight.
This either could be one of the biggest nights in New York sports history, or it could just turn into a.
Well, it's a guarantee that a New York baseball team is going to win tonight. We know
well,
that.
that is true. So I guess there will be something good out of it at the end of tonight. But I refuse to believe that this is going to be, another shellacking, so to speak. I think this is going to be a really intense game, and I just hope that the Knicks can get it done at home. I'm not going to say they are. I mean, I don't feel 100% confident right now, but
No, I don't think any of us do.
I do like their chances being at home. And like I said, they've played good enough. Like, no matter what the Celtics fans will try to say about, we should have won this series by now. We should have won 4-1. You didn't. You blew a 20-point lead in games 1 and 2, and that's why you let the Knicks hang around in this series. And now the pressure will still be on Boston tonight, in my opinion, just because they have to win. But in game 7, all the pressure is going to shift to the Knicks.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we will definitely see a different Knicks team tonight because, again, like I said, they're consistently inconsistent. And when you look at some of the stats from the game, I mean, OG Anunoby only 6 points, 1 for 12 from the field. Mikal Bridges only had 9 points, 4 of 14 from the field. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And they need those guys to step up in this game tonight and, have another threat outside of Jalen Brunson. And I think Brunson's going to come up big tonight. And really, all we really need is for the Knicks to be in a close game, and you know that they have a great chance of closing it out and getting it done. Because that's what happened in the first 2 games when they came back down 20, and that's what happened in Game 4 as well at the Garden. I think the Knicks are going to play a much better game tonight. But it's just it's hard when now the Celtics have gotten hot from 3, because the first 2 games they were dreadful from 3, and then they were able to figure it out. And you figured that was going to be the case. You didn't think that was going to last the entire series. And if that was the case, then it would have been over and the Knicks would have won already. But that didn't happen. This team is the defending champs, and you knew they were going to get hot one way or another. And that's what's happened. But now they lost their best player. And, yeah, we both have said it. Even with Jason Tatum being out, this team is still very good. And we're not going to take them lightly. I think, the Knicks got punched in the mouth, and that's happened several times over the course of not just this series, but, in these playoffs in general. And they've responded. So I'm expecting them to respond tonight, and I'm going to say they get the win tonight. I know a lot of people don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about it, but I think this is going to be a great night in New York sports, and the Knicks winning is going to be a big part of that. It's going to be an intense game, like you said. I think there's going to be at certain points during the game where, yeah, you might think to yourself, oh, the Knicks are probably not going to win this one, but I think they're going to find a way, one way or another. I think you're going to get better performances tonight from some of the other guys in the starting lineup. Brunson's going to have a big game, and I think they're going to find a way to win this game tonight. Now, I won't be able to watch it because I will be in the Bronx focusing on other things tonight, but I will be checking my phone periodically and hoping that, the Knicks get it done. And hopefully we get to hear, Yankee and Met fans, in celebration together, at least for a moment, that the Knicks get the win tonight, because that'll be fun to see in person. And then we focus back on the Yankees-Mets game. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But I wanted to ask you, so and hopefully this doesn't happen, but hypothetically, the Knicks blow this series, do you think that Tom Thibodeau is done as the head coach?
I don't. I think Tom Thibodeau did enough in terms of the Pistons series. Like that to me would have been the backbreaker. If the Knicks don't get by the Pistons, out physical them, make the big shots in those games. I mean, and that was a great series. Like the Knicks, it's crazy to say, like, it's not good for our blood pressure, but the Knicks have had some unbelievably good playoff series these last couple of years that they've really made their splash, back in the postseason. I mean, Tom Thibodeau deserves enough credit, I think, alone just for games 1 and 2. Like, you can't fault him necessarily. I mean, is he bound to make, bad decisions and whatnot down the stretch of these games? Probably. But I don't think blowing a 3-1 lead to a team like the Celtics would be detrimental to his, to his job. I mean, I think he's done enough. The Knicks have made the second round of the playoffs. This is now their 3rd consecutive year. They made the playoffs 4 of the last 5 seasons as a whole. I mean, would it be completely disappointing? Oh, absolutely. And it would just be yet another example of Boston sports fans hanging it over us, which would be,
Yeah, we
endless
don't
for
want that.
about a week. We don't want to hear it. We don't want anything to do with '04 again. And, and the other thing, too, to think about, I should fact check this, but as far as I'm aware, the only team to come back from down 3-1 in NBA history was LeBron's Cavs in 2016. As far as I'm aware of, no other NBA team has ever done it.
I think didn't the Warriors do it that same season against the Thunder?
Maybe that was finals history. I gotta
Oh
check.
yeah, man, it sounds like that's finals history.
Um, but no, I just don't think we can say that Tom Thibodeau deserves to be fired after
Yeah,
what he has done, and just the nature of how the Knicks got here. Because I think we'd be writing maybe a different story if the Knicks got wiped out. Like I said, they realistically, like they have played great when it counts, but they don't win games 1 and 2. They could have been already eliminated. I think the
yeah,
Celtics would have won Game 5, and that would have been it. I think that would have been
yeah.
4-1.
Yep.
It's crazy to think where the series could be. Um, but regardless, I think no matter how this series transpires and how it could have ended up transpiring, Tom Thibodeau should be safe to stay in New York. I think the culture that he's built, the talent that the Knicks have now developed, they're going to be a good team going forward. Like they're going to be a regular playoff contender, I think. I mean, are they at the NBA Finals level yet?
It's still up for
No,
debate.
no, but perhaps. I mean, they're one win from the Eastern Conference Finals
Yep.
against the Pacers team, which is beatable. I mean, they're a good team, but I would expect the Knicks. The difference too. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if you do think ahead, Knicks Pacers. The Knicks didn't have Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks didn't have Mikal Bridges. The Knicks lost OG Anunoby midway through that series. The Knicks didn't have Mitchell Robinson because he was injured. The Knicks lost Jalen Brunson in Game 7, the game that they got wiped in to end the series. The Knicks are healthier this time around. They have more depth, and they're just playing great basketball overall. I mean, if you take games 3 and 5 out of the equation, the 3 wins that the Knicks have had in this series have been really fantastic basketball. And like I said, as inconsistent as they can be, they turn right around and respond. And I think that builds character in an NBA team and in any sports team today. If you can find a way to roll with punches and, keep battling back like they did in games 1 and game 2, that really builds your morale and your character for a team. And Tom Thibodeau has built it. He's got one of the more unique cultures in the NBA and defensive-minded teams at that, because there's not a lot of defense today in the NBA. You see it in the playoffs, like the Knicks, the Pistons, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Timberwolves. All those teams throughout the postseason have been exceptional defensively. So I mean, I think anything about Thibodeau being fired is ridiculous kind of at this point, because just of how the Knicks have battled in both of these series. And like I said, is it going to be tough to accept them losing potentially? Oh, it absolutely will. This would really sting, especially not to say that the Celtics are any worse without Jason Tatum. Like I said, they're 10-2 without him. They have plenty of star players, and that's what this league is about: star power. That's why tonight, if Karl Anthony Towns doesn't show up in this game, the Knicks will not win. I think that's going to be what it comes down to. He got into foul trouble big time again in Game 5.
He's also always looking for fouls too.
Oh, he is, and he tries to get physical, but he goes about it in the wrong way, and he just gets too touchy, and that's what happens. You'll get called almost every time for making even minimal contact. And Kenny, let's not forget something else. Jalen Brunson had 5 fouls in the third quarter in Game 5.
Yeah, that's like I said, I've never seen that.
I was stunned. So like that's why everything to me just seems like Game 5, we can throw it in the trash and move on. Like, I can't see a world where the Knicks would get blown out tonight. Could I see them losing a late game situation in the fourth quarter? Perhaps. But they've been better in those situations throughout the series and throughout most of these playoffs. So that's why we talk about it every game in the series so far. If the game is close going to the fourth, the Knicks are within 10. We've seen this movie before. Jalen Brunson can always take over a game, and the Knicks have found ways to win. And that's what it's all about in sports. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like the Celtics having 20-point leads in those opening 2 games, it doesn't matter now. It's about finding ways to chip away, get back into a game, and make the closing plays down the stretch. Something that the Knicks are capable of doing and have shown us that they are capable of doing. This is their opportunity, and they better not drop the ball tonight.
No, I agree. Because if that happens, I mean, Game 7 in Boston, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But I do think that, like you said, and like I've said, it's a close enough game, and you saw it in Game 4. Jalen Brunson took over, and they were able to get the win. But you got to also have contributions from everybody else. And like you said, Karl Anthony Towns needs to have a good game. OG Anunoby, Bridges, I mean, we keep saying it. Josh Hart continued to do your thing. Mitchell Robinson, I mean, he was good in Game 5. If there's a couple of positives you could take away, he was good in Game 5. Now, I don't think he's going to go, 6 for 6 from the line again. I don't think that's going to happen. But, he got you 13 rebounds. Like I said, went 6 for 6 from the line. And Josh Hart had a good shooting night, but I don't expect that to be every single night. So, it's a big game, and they need to get it done. And go ahead.
I did find the stat. Yes, so the only 3-1 comeback in NBA playoffs history, in NBA Finals history was, of course, the Cavs winning in 2016. There's only been 13 times in NBA playoff history that we've had a 3-1 comeback. So it is rare. It is rare, but it wasn't just the one time. I was clearly thinking of the 2016 Finals, which you feel old yet? That was 9 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we were freshmen in high school. I remember watching it in this very room when Kyrie hit that shot, that 3-point shot.
Iguodala for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jay.
Yeah. It's been a
green.
Yeah.
Sounds.
That was back when the the ESPN theme music, for basketball. I missed that.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, missed that. But hey, they decided to change it. That's fine. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's serviceable. Yeah, it does its job, I guess.
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that with that topic. We don't need to go. We don't need to go down that. And then, like you said, next year inside the NBA, it's gonna be doing the NBA Finals on ESPN. That's gonna be quite something.
Oh yeah, they're coming. They're coming hot and heavy. It's gonna be great. And the TNT also did announce PSA. So now that we have the Eastern Conference Finals schedule, which is it's going to begin Wednesday regardless of what happens in this series. So and it'll be every other day. So Game 4 is set to be Tuesday, May 27th. After Game 4 on TNT, there's going to be an exclusive documentary coming out.
I did
after
see that.
Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals called Going Inside, about the last season of Inside the NBA on TNT. So that'll be a really great, inside access, behind the scenes look at what goes on with Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and Ernie, because those 4 are just appointment television. I mean, and it's sad to think that TNT is coming to an end. I mean, we heard Brian Anderson.
I saw his Instagram post.
The Timberwolves Warriors call Wednesday night as well. Him and Stan Van Gundy saying goodbye and thank you to TNT. It's just sad because we're gonna lose Brian Anderson. We're gonna lose Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan actually is in talks to go to Amazon next year. But we're losing some of these, distinguished voices who have been associated with the NBA on TNT for the last, 10, 15 years. I think there's a chance, too. I think that Sparrow Didius is not going to be calling any more games as well in the future. I mean, we're going into an era now where we're going to have Mike Tirico, Noah Eagle on NBC. We're going to keep Mike Breen and Mark Jones and all the ESPN voices that still call games, Dave Pash. And then Amazon's really the TBD. I mean, we might see those guys end up on a special deal with them. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, get ready for a new future in the NBA because as part of this 11-year media deal, for anyone who isn't aware already, we talk about the conference finals coming up. This is going to be the final time, potentially, that we have the conference finals on television every single year because starting next season in that new deal, NBC and Amazon will be splitting for one of the conference finals series. So every other year, we're going to get a conference finals on Amazon Prime Video. That's where we are. This might be the first big streaming deal for a professional sports league. I'm not even kidding because, you can put like wild card games on Peacock and all that and Prime and whatnot. But
the NFL is
but this is a conference
at the time. Yeah, no, I got you.
Of course, Kenny. By the way, can we just pivot for a second to that since you bring that up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wednesday night was the schedule release.
Mm-hmm.
When there's more people talking about a freaking NFL schedule in May than the NBA playoff games that are going on in front of our eyes, what does that tell you about the optics of professional sports? That's right. The NFL is king. They have taken Christmas from the NBA.
Yep.
They're saying, ho, ho, no, and putting 3 games every year on Christmas now.
That's right. Yep.
They own Thanksgiving. They own Christmas. They own Black Friday now because nobody's watching college football anymore on Black Friday. They're trumping on college football with the playoff Saturday. It's happening again.
Yeah.
Fox has a doubleheader this year.
Yep.
On playoff Saturday, December 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the NFL is the king of sports media. It's not even close.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, just wait. As my dad and I keep joking, the Super Bowl will be in London by 2045 because the NFL is just deciding to go international now. And
yep. Yeah, how about they got the Vikings with back-to-back international games?
I know. Isn't that crazy that's allowed now in the schedule? It's happened. Didn't it happen last year with the Jaguars as well?
Well, that makes more sense because London's like they're
they're the London Jaguars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that happens. But I know, and it's not this year, right? But next year the NFL is going to Australia. I don't think it's this year, right?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because this year is just Munich and I think Madrid and Brazil. I mean,
we're going Chiefs on YouTube.
Yeah, and talk about that. Luckily, it's free. For once, people can enjoy something that's free.
It won't be the following year.
No, it won't, because the NFL is going to see, wow, we got 500,000 viewers on YouTube, and then they'll be like, all right, $10, let's go. That's how it looks.
And the Super Bowl is going to eventually. It's going to be like that with the Super Bowl, where you're going to have to pay to watch it.
And I know we don't want to look too far ahead because it's only May, but did anybody see the Giants' schedule? Because that's just a bloodbath waiting to happen.
Yeah.
When
I did go over it yesterday. There is a video out on the channel. I go over the schedule, and man, it's not good.
That's good. I'd love to hear those thoughts. But to think about,
well, you can go back and watch it. It's on the channel.
To think about the fact that you have to deal with 2 road games to open the season in Washington and Dallas. You're potentially staring down 0-2 in the division right there. And then you come home to play the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, the Chargers the following week, on the road at a newly revamped Saints team that's coming in this year. And then, just for fun, let's play the Eagles twice in 3 weeks in week 6 and week 8.
And have the Broncos in between that.
Yeah, and that's your first 8 weeks. And that'll probably be it for the Giants. And the rest of the season, we'll just be like, well, it was a great season. It's on to next year. That's just the annual discussion. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
The game
it's
I'm looking
horrible.
forward to the most, of course, I'm looking forward to Chiefs Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
The
We were talking
Thanksgiving games are they're really good this year. They are
uh,
really good.
unreal. Like it could be the best slate in decades because what do we have? We have is it Lions Packers and
Yeah,
then
Lions, Packers. Yep. Chiefs, Cowboys, and then Bengals, Ravens.
that's the one. I mean that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
There's
I know we don't have like the the Saints and the Falcons like they had twice in a row. These are some really good games.
yeah. Also like what did the Falcons do to deserve? I think what I have 5 primetime games this year. Like
That I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean they weren't bad last year.
yeah, I guess, but you gotta see that. I think we gotta have to use the flex scheduling later in the year at that rate. I
We'll,
don't
we'll
know
have to
about
see.
that.
We'll have to see.
Well,
They're
it's
pretty
like
good. They're a pretty good team
it's way too early. I mean, and
on paper.
it, yeah, that's what it's all about. The paper. Oh, by the way, welcome back to the 10 o'clock kickoffs this year.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
The 10 o'clock kicks. We got Chargers Raiders week 2 at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, already. Like, why are we doing these double headers so early? Well, I mean, they did used to do the double headers on ESPN week 1, but
Yes, and then there's another one as well, which is later. Is it later in the year? I think.
yeah, I
Um,
forget what the matchup is, but
yeah. Oh, actually, yes. No, I do know. That's a. It's Texans at
ESPN Plus.
Yes, it's an ESPN Plus exclusive. So not only are you just not going to be able to, stay awake, you're going to have to flip the remote over to ESPN.
That's all right, because you know what I did last year when it was on ESPN Plus? I took out my phone and I put on the Sirius XM app and I listened to it.
Also,
also do that.
ESPN just announced ESPN this week. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
The brand new direct to consumer service that's coming from ESPN. They originally were supposed to call it Flagship, I believe it was in the works, but it's going to be called ESPN. How basic, but I guess it gets to the point. And this is going to be the start of a new transition, maybe in terms of sports streaming with these, legacy media networks. $29.99 a month, you can get all the ESPN networks, so ESPN, ESPN2, U, News, Classic, SEC Network, ACC Network, and so on and so forth. And the perk, which is good, you can get every game that airs on ABC as well. So that's gonna be big time. Also, I'm not sure if ESPN Plus will be included in it, but already ESPN Plus is $11.99 a month. So it's drawn some interesting reactions this week across social media, but this fall, yeah, ESPN is launching ESPN.
All right. So we went off topic a little bit, but
Really
but you know what, that happens. That happens from time to time. And
if
actually,
you haven't been with us all these years, we go off topic quite a bit.
Now, I guess since we really went off topic, so there is the other event going on in New York City tonight, which I will be at. I want to get your thoughts, your quick thoughts before we wrap up here. What are your expectations tonight as Juan Soto makes his highly anticipated return to the Bronx for the first time since he signed with the New York Mets? How do you think he will be received tonight?
Oh, he'll be received very poorly. I can tell you that right now. Like
But do they have to do the F1 Soto chants? I mean, I already said I'm not partaking in any kind of booing or chant like that. I'll chant the "We Have Grisham." I'll do that, but
look,
I'm not doing the basic F1 Soto. That's not happening. That's not happening.
I agree. I've been saying this for years. There's the Yankee fans, and then there's the super obnoxious diehard Yankee fans. That's what those people are. Those fans are a different breed. That's why. Remember, was it last year or 2023 when they were planning the Fire Cashman night? I think I was
That was
23.
2020. Yeah, that was 20. Well,
Yeah,
well, you got to remember, last year the Yankees, went to the World Series. 2023 was rough.
that's true. 2023 was the rough season in between. Like, and these fans are ruthless. Remember, they're throwing cans on the field
Against the Guardians. Yep.
against the Guardians that one year, and
Yep.
there's just the list goes on and on. Oh, but there's going to be a big F Juan Soto chant, Kenny. Are you surprised? This is what this fan base is
I'm
like.
not surprised. I'm disappointed.
I agree because look, I remember I was heated up after this originally happened. I'm like, good, what a greedy guy. He's gonna take the money. Good, get out of here, get out. And I was heated up. But now that it's been a while, and you sit back and think, well, you know what, life goes on, and Juan Soto got his money, and he's gonna try and perform, on the Mets, which to this point of the season, I mean, he's been, he's been so-so. I mean, he's so-so Soto. Wow, I didn't intend to say that, but I mean, you look at the numbers: 255, 8 homers, 20 RBIs. I mean, he's
getting on base. He's getting his walks.
Yeah, he's trying to get in a rhythm.
But it's like every little like negative thing that he does, like he makes a bad play in the field, base running mistake, whatever. You see a post on it, like, see, this is why the Yankees let him go. It's just all right.
Those are the lunatic fans too. Like, they're the ones that critique every move and every play, and they think Aaron Boone should have been fired, the first day he got the job. So, I mean, this is where we are. But, the reception's going to be poor. I mean, the SNY and the Yes producer Stein will be raising the volume when he steps to that.
I was turning it down, But...
Yeah, push the levels up. They're just going to let the crowd take the mic tonight because it's going to be.
Well, Soto also said it's going to be 50,000 to 1. Did you not factor in that there's going to be Met fans, around the stadium? And this happened a few years ago when I went to a game at the stadium, and the Mets came back and won. Let's go Mets chants. We're filling up the stadium, and I'm like, this is rock bottom. This can't happen.
Now I would assume. Are the Yankees going to be doing a tribute video for him?
I think you know what? I think they should. I
hope so.
Because you know what? He was a rental, but guess what? The Yankees went to the World Series with him last year. He had all these great moments. Him and Judge hitting all these home runs. You got to have a tribute. They had a tribute video for Aaron Hicks. And you're telling me you're not going to have a tribute video for Soto? No, there's going to be a tribute video for Soto. He hit the home run that sent them to the World Series last year. You got to have a tribute video. Now, as I'm watching it, I'll be tearing up because I'm like, I can't believe this is the reality that he left and joined the Mets. But you know what? Then the game's going to start, and it's game on. It's game on. He's the opposition now. He's the opposition now.
The thing that just makes me amazed by the Mets is that for, how middle of the road Juan Soto's been so far this year for this team. And granted, I mean, Alonso, Lindor, and
it's the Juan Soto effect. Lindor. Remember when Lindor got off to a brutal start last year? Yes. That's not the case this year. And then Pete Alonso has been unbelievable as well. MVP.
No, yeah,
both of them are.
Right. As much as those pieces, have been contributing. I mean, the thing that just blows me away is
the pitching.
The Mets are 28-15 without him.
Yeah.
Being at his peak, and the rotation is just unbelievable.
And it's like all these guys you wouldn't expect: Griffin Canning, David Peterson, Tyler McGill, Clay Holmes. It's like, what the heck? What is going on?
By the way, I saw a stat that I guess Weaver has like a .45 ERA like in his last 8 appearances or something like that, in 8 appearances or whatever. And as soon as I saw that stat, my mind instantly flashed back to Clay Holmes in the first part of, what was it, 22 or 23 when it, remember when he was remember when he was at his .82 ERA, and then it went down the hill from there.
Well, then it went up.
Yeah, it went way up.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a great night tonight. I said, guarantee one New York baseball team will win, preferably the team that's behind me. Sorry, Mets fans. And then hopefully the Knicks get the win, because if they don't,
it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly if the Knicks don't get the win. Like, I think there's, if you are a Boston, PSA, okay, if you're a Boston Celtics fan tonight, going to the Garden, you better keep it cool and collected if you win, because if you don't, you're gonna get targeted. Like, and I'm not kidding. Like, and I apologize in advance on behalf of Knicks Nation, because it's not me, it's not Kenny. We're not part of the.
No, I'm gonna be in the Bronx.
we're not part of the Nick Crazies or whatever you want to call them. The Garden. I'm trying to think of something. The Garden Hooligans. I don't know. But we're not part of that. But there were stories after Game 4 and Game 3 about how Knicks fans were losing their minds. And if you're a Celtics fan in enemy territory, just like if you're a Knicks fan in Celtic territory, we don't like each other. We don't.
Boston
and
against New York, yeah.
We take it into our own hands sometimes, and sometimes it gets really ugly. So if you win tonight, Boston, please keep it on the down low. Just try for your own personal safety. Anyways,
yeah, to wipe the sweat away from saying that. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it though. Hopefully it's a good night. Knicks, I think, like we've been saying, I think they're going to come out with a different kind of energy. I think you're going to see better performances out of certain guys, and I think they win a close game tonight. And if not, like I said, Game 7 is Monday, and the confidence will not be high going into that potential Game 7. But Ben, appreciate the remarks today. Hopefully we come in up. Yep. Before we wrap up,
I will throw in before we wrap. Okay, I'm gonna as we've gone throughout the show, and my and my confidence is building a little bit. As we're talking through it with the Knicks, I'm gonna be right with you, Kenny. I do think Knicks are gonna win tonight.
Okay,
I'm saying.
All right, you went from I don't think the Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks are gonna win tonight to now you're saying you think they are gonna win tonight. Okay,
I do. My confidence has grown. And I'm telling you, man, I said it earlier in the show. I just don't think they can play as bad as they did in Game 5 again. I just can't see.
Well, when they throw up a clunker, they respond. So we're kind of assuming it's going to be the same thing.
Just get in the game tonight, have a chance, and the crowd will assist you to the win. Hopefully, that's what I hope.
Yep. Yeah. That's all we can do is hope. Because we have no impact on the game. We can only sit there and observe. So, yeah, great show. Make sure everybody to check out all of the other videos I had. The Subway Series preview, Giants draft recap / schedule preview, and maybe we'll do something with Ben here. We'll talk about the Giants and what's going on in the offseason for them and the schedule. We'll get his thoughts on the schedule, even though you got a little bit of that today. More stuff to come up. But yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And enjoy the games tonight. So as always, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off along with Ben Upson. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Go Knicks.